Welcome, everyone. I'd like to call to order our City Council meeting for today, Tuesday, August. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Packed house for good stuff. Sylvia, roll call.
Mayor Mays.
Here.
Council President Rosner.
Here.
Councilor Browse.
Here.
Councilor Young.
Here.
Councilor Garland.
Here.
Councilor Griffin.
Here.
Councilor Scott.
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sylvia. Approval of agenda.
Make a motion to approve the agenda?
Second.
All in favor of approving the agenda as presented, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Council. We have two items on our consent agenda this evening. Item A is approval of the July 2nd, 2019 City Council meeting minutes. And item B is Resolution 2019-061, authorizing the city manager to execute a construction contract for the 2019 paving overlay projects.
I move consent.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor of approving the consent agenda as presented, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Council. Next on the agenda is citizen comments. Anyone in the audience, we have a packed house, like to address council on any topic not on the agenda? We have one. First, Paul. Welcome, Paul. If you come to the table, push the button so it turns green. Introduce yourself and welcome.
Hello, everybody. Ooh. I'm really excited tonight. I'm here to tell you guys about Jason Osborne. Jason Osborne is a Sherwood resident who was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer in January and passed away on July 3rd at the age of 45. I myself never met Jason, but learning about Jason, I realized I know Jason because I am Jason. This came out of nowhere, killed him in 6 months. And you all know Jason. He's your neighbor, he's your brother, he's your husband, he's your father. And his family was left behind, and they had no life insurance, no backup plan. His long-term girlfriend and he got married in April, hoping to beat the timeline of cancer. And it didn't work. He passed away just a few months after that. And she was entitled to no Social Security benefits, nothing. She had to quit her job to take care of him. And those of us who heard his story got together, and we put together a little benefit this Sunday at Vine and Sparrow, just up the street here. Everybody's favorite band, Hit Machine, has donated a performance, which I don't know if you guys know, but Hit Machine is not a cheap band to hire. So they're donating their time. Hungry Hero is donating food. Fat Milo's is donating food. We have many, many, many donors who have donated prizes for raffles. And it's going to be a great evening remembering Jason and helping his family. A week after he passed away, his family received an eviction notice because the landlord knew he had passed away and their lease was coming up, and decided that they didn't want to negotiate knowing their circumstances. Luckily, we've been able to get her into a new home here in Sherwood, but she needs a lot of help financially so that she can get through this and get back on her feet and get her 4 kids that she has going. 3 students in high school, 1 in college. So if you're interested, 2 o'clock on Sunday is when it starts. It's at Vine and Sparrow right up the street. We do have a Facebook event called Hit Machine Jason Osborne Memorial Concert. Tickets to get in are $25. And as of right now, we've got about 200 tickets available. We've only sold about 68 tickets, and those tickets have been available for about a month now. And the community businesses have stepped up. We've got several $1,000s worth of raffle prizes. Some examples are we have a overnight stay to Skamania Lodge. We've got Nature's Pet up about a $300 gift package, including a awesome if we could get people to step up and help out. I mean, I would like to think that if something happened to myself, that the community that I've lived in for 16 years would step up to help my family, because I think that's what Sherwood's about. And anyway, I've got some flyers here. If you're interested, if you go onto Facebook and look up the memorial concert, again, his name's Jason Osborne. You can look on Hit Machine's page. They've got their information there as well. And yeah, that's all I've really got. I just wanted to get one last little push in here to try to get some people out to support them. Even if you can't make it, you can purchase a ticket and donate that ticket back into the pool of available tickets, and that every single dime that is collected for this event is going to help her family.
Awesome.
All right.
Paul, thank you for and helping with this. It's a and to help his family.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I couldn't agree more. Can I get one of those flyers? I'm a member of the Rotary Club here in Sherwood, and several of us are actually, and we could help get the word out through.
Make it turn green. Introduce yourself.
All right, so my name is Ron Greger. I actually have my scout uniform on today for a different reason, but I'm the president of the Robin Hood Festival, and I wanted to come and thank the city and Public Works and the police department for all their support on a wonderful Robin Hood Festival that we had. So I just wanted to come and say thank you to all of you for your support for this year's festival.
Ron, thanks for coming tonight and acknowledging the support of the Public Works. Craig was here. I think he's hiding in the back room. Craig Sheldon, the head of Public Works. Chief is at the police night out, but Joe will extend the congratulations and appreciation to all staff.
All the guys that were helping and worked and supported us. It was great. The festival was awesome. So thank you very much.
And for a first-year president of the association, you did a great job. You scheduled the weather perfectly.
I asked for that too.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now we'll get to more fun stuff with presentations. Would you pass me those three certificates? Before we recognize a large group of outstanding young adults, I'd like to acknowledge three now Eagle Scouts that I think are here. First, Ron Greger. Carlton. Ron Jr. Ron the third. Third. If you'd sit down, Ron, welcome. So you just recently achieved the rank of Eagle Scout. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
So tell us about your project and what made you think of it, and how did you make it happen?
So for my project, I ended up making a path for the tennis team over to their shed over at Edie and Laurel Ridge. So it kind of came out of, it was kind of funny really. I had always noticed that, there's this random shed here, there's always a path, a missing path, and it's the grassy area over there. I don't know if you've actually seen it, but it floods during their season, and so I'd always gone, they need to put a path in there. And then out of pure dumb luck, I went to some guy from, I forget his name, it's been a few years now, but I went up to him, I'm like, hey, I'd like this, I'd like to do this project. And he kind of looked dumbfounded at me. He's like, I've been looking for someone to do it. So I ended up going with him. We went over details, and in about a month I got a group together and we went out and put the path in.
Outstanding. Well, it's a great amenity. Thank you for doing that. About how many people did you have help you? How many hours did you probably spend collectively?
Oh, shoot. I want to say we had around 20 people all together, which it was quite nice. We were able to get through the ground very quickly. And I'd say collectively, we ended up spending 8 hours. It was something like 6 to 8 hours that day actually digging and putting it all in. and other work, just paperwork and whatnot, it's probably up to about, I don't know, 14-ish combined there, so.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for doing that. So you're in Sherwood High. How old are you? What are you? I won't presume because I know, but what grade are you just finishing up? And
I finished up my sophomore year. I'm going to be a junior next year, and I am 16.
outstanding. So you're younger than the average Eagle Scout.
Yeah.
So congratulations for getting out ahead and knocking it out. Great job.
Thank you.
Ask a question?
Yes.
Well, I was just curious what you made the path out of.
We used pavers, which I forget the company because it's been a while, but I got them very generously donated to me for free, and so that took out one of the big costs, and then we just went down and put them, which we did gravel and quarter minus and all that stuff.
Oh, nice. Well, having a kid on the tennis team, I can avoid muddy shoes coming home then, so thank you.
That's great. Any other questions for? Awesome. So, I'd like to give you a certificate, and it says Certificate of Achievement presented to Ronald C. Greger. On behalf of the City of Sherwood and the Sherwood City Council, we congratulate you on your outstanding achievement of attaining the rank of Eagle Scout. Awesome. Also, is Zachary here? Zachary, outstanding. Welcome, Zachary. You have also achieved the rank of Eagle Scout. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Zachary Myrick?
Myrick.
Tell us about your project and details. What'd you do to be able to achieve the rank of Eagle?
So, years prior to my Eagle project, I volunteered at St. Francis Catholic Church, Hope Diner, and in the Hope Garden there. And they had a need for more fresh produce for guests coming in. And the garden they had was very high maintenance, to say the least. And so I decided for my Eagle project to incorporate water-assisted raised beds. They're called self-watering, but you still need to fill them up every now and then. Think it's just like a raised bed with dirt in it, and then below, at the bottom, there's French drain piping, which acts as a reservoir, and cut holes at the top of the piping and stuck PVC pipes into them. That's where you fill the water in. It only needs to be filled about once a week as the water gets let out naturally, so the plants drink it when they need it. And it saves a lot of time because without it, you need to spend 30 to 45 minutes a day in the hot sun.
So you're just giving everyone a tutorial on what they can do at their own home for their own garden.
Yes, we actually did something similar at our own.
That's outstanding. So Zach is available for hire as a consultant. I have a feeling. Make sure you have the right hourly rate if you do that.
Yes.
So that's a great project, but how many people did you have help you? How much time did you spend?
I'd say scouts I had around 10 to 15, a couple of adults helping. We spent from about 8 to 1 on a Saturday doing it, and then I came the day before just to do a little prep work and just to prepare for the project itself. About 14, 15 hours that day alone.
Awesome.
In those 2 days, I should say.
Well, it's another great idea, and I'm sure they're very appreciative. And how's it performing?
It's held up well. The volunteers love it. The social action coordinators love it as well.
Wonderful. So, Zach, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I just finished sophomore year. I'm 16 years old. I'm gonna be junior.
Wow.
I Sherwood High School.
Awesome. And I knew Ron Carlton's folks were here because are your folks here? Proud Mom and Dad? Awesome. Great job, Mom and Dad. Any questions for Zach?
So did you do fundraising or did you get donations? What did you do?
a mix. I did some fundraising for some of the costs, and I did donations as well through and reduced more like wholesale pricing on some raw materials.
Nice.
Awesome. Well, as for you as well, I have a certificate of achievement presented to Zachary Myrick. On behalf of the City of Sherwood and the Sherwood City Council, we congratulate you on your outstanding achievement of attaining the rank of Eagle Scout. Is Logan here? Okay, he didn't RSVP. We just wanted to double check. Logan Swanson also achieved the rank of Eagle Scout, and if we're able to lure him in at a future meeting, we'll recognize him publicly as well. So now we get to recognize a large group of outstanding young adults in our community, high school students that had perfect grades last year. And some of you are repeaters. Some are first-timers. Great job, one and all. Congratulations to Mom and Dad, because it is a team effort, and we're very proud of each and every one of you. This is about the funnest meeting we have. Some are not so fun, some are kind of mild, and no one's really here. But if you're at home watching, the room is filled, all the seats, standing room only, out in the hall. And it's only a fraction of the, how many students? 170, 4.0 students. That is a testament to our school system, our teachers, but most importantly, those young adults and their parents. So we're going to come around to the front. Joe gets the task of reading out names. They'll be in alphabetical order. Come up, shake hands from this side to that side. We'll give you the certificate, and Mom and Dad just take photos or do whatever you want to do, and this will be great. So, and there's refreshments out back when we're done. When you're done with us, we got to have other stuff to do, but here we go. And Joe, you want to read a complete what the certificate says?
Yes, for the first one I will, and
Yeah.
we'll go from there.
Not on all 107.
No, that's all right. Be here a while. So each year when I do this, besides always being amazed at how many students achieve this recognition, I sometimes get people's name wrong. So I must apologize if I mangle anyone's names. Usually I'll hear something from the crowd or someone up here saying what the name really is. So anyway.
You know, it's your best effort.
Correct. This is my 7th year of doing this, so.
So you should be perfect.
It should be perfect. So let me, as the mayor requested, let me read what the certificate says for everybody. So this is a certificate of achievement. This is for Grace Applegate, so you have a little clue if Grace is here. This is presented to Grace Applegate on behalf of the City of Sherwood and the Sherwood City Council. We congratulate you on your outstanding achievement of receiving a 4.0 GPA for the 2018-19 school year. So if Grace is here, if you can come up. There she is. Yes. So the names, just for full transparency. Oh, don't forget that. These are folks that RSVP'd. And then after we get through that, this is a group that maybe some folks are here, but they didn't RSVP. So next is Paige Austin. Is Paige here? Jay Baldwin. Jay did not make it. Lindsay Boisvert. All right, what is it? It's not Boisvert. Lindsay, how do you pronounce your name?
Waber.
Of course. Yes. Both of my grandparents were French, so sorry. Yeah, exactly.
All gone.
Dane Basinger. Anna Brunner. Taylor Card. James Day. Poor Julia. Skylar Deitman. Sophia Denise Flowers. Jonah Gent. Got to shake the hand of the Community Development Director. How exciting. Your hands too. Thank you. Congratulations. Annika Goddard. Sorry. Mina Grimm. Cassandra Guler. And Nicholas Gilly.
Proud parents.
Nicholas Hausman. Ella Lahart. Annika Ledo. Emily Latwesson. Dallin Marker. Travis Matlock. Allison McIntosh. Kaylee Monahan. Megan Murphy. I'm going to do my best with this one. Yishan Na. How do you say it? Yeshan. Okay. Thank you. Okay, this looks like a brother, no, actually two sisters. Emily Pennell. And Phoebe Pennell. Nisa Peck. Adriana Patron. Elise Ryder. Right, exactly. Awesome. Brendan Roach. Erica Rogala Villalobos. All right, Max Russell. Claire Shipman. Luke Soto. Brett Steele. Halia Tarvin. Jennifer Villapando. Eaton Wen. Aiden Whitman Rinks. Marlene Wilson. So that is the stack of RSVPs. So as we normally do, I will read everyone's name, but these folks did not RSVP. So I think if you want to sit down, if someone is here when... Is there anyone else here? I can actually pull up.
Harrison Strom.
I can find that. Harrison, please come on up. Yep. Harrison Strom?
Yep.
Harrison, come on up. Any other students? Sure we do. Let me look real quick. I have a Cameron Lee.
I know we have Andrew, if he wants to come up, that's on the list. We'll get him a certificate.
Okay, come on up.
Well, we'll congratulate you publicly and we'll track down this.
Yes. Thank you. Any other students that are here tonight that we've missed? Z. Work backwards. Yes, Dominic. So Dominic Zangara. Anyone else?
Awesome. So Joe will read the names of those that were able to be here tonight. We'll get the certificates to them. And then I think council will say a couple things, and then you guys can do the reception and give them a little more cool air.
Yes. Okay, great. Thank you. And there are a lot of certificates. So I'm just going to get going. Letitia Adjay, Colin Anderson, Delaney Bonds, Kendall Balderi, Mason Bond, Eric Bonomo, Kate Bowden, Emily Boynton, Madison Brown, Alyssa Camp, Jack Causey, Cameron Christensen, Hannah Christensen, Jennifer Christensen, Quinn Christensen. Samantha Christensen. My goodness. Elizabeth Chikowski. Reese Klauser. Mallory Clough. Dana Cowley. Braden Crosby.
Hey, Joe, I'm going to pause for a moment. If you do want to get up and go to the reception before we finish, it's okay. Don't feel, I just want you to be comfortable.
Yes.
Okay, Joe.
Okay. Caden Davis. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. James Davis. Isaac Day. Macy DeMeyer. Jace Derry. Catherine DeVries. Peter Dinsdale. Rebecca Dombeck. Allison Douglas. Natalie Driscoll. Anna Dummer. Alana Eastman. Samuel Edinger. Abigail Eisenbeis. Addison Enger. Isaac Evans. Kyla Flaherty. Tyler Ford. Jack Fulweiler. Kaylee Farino. Lauren Garrison. Grace Gary. Sharavat Gar. Maddox Gillett. Carson Gladheim. Caden Glass. Cambria Hagfelt. James Hansen. Kelsey Harty. Anna Hieronymus. Emily Natiak. Lucas Hull. Jessica Hornibrook. Alari Ince. Lisa Jacobs. Samuel Jewett. Callista Carr. Oyadola Coyote Papula. Taryn Kelly. Tally Cosma. Baden Kulowatz. Andrew Lee. Is that the Andrew that was here? Oh, it only has one E. So, Andrew, is it actually Lee? Yeah. Okay, but it only has one E. Okay, thank you. Gage LaCour. Cameron Lee with two E's. Riley Lisick. Maximilian Libman. Carson Lindgren. Haley Lindsley. Ashley Ma. David Ma. Brenna Matthews. Claire McConnell. Allison McCulloch. Braden McDonald. Mason McKechnie. Lena McLaughlin. Meg McLaughlin. Kaylee Miller. Sonia Moons. Andrew Morris. Jolie Morris. Kendall Nielsen. Kayla North. Maya Oliver. Ileana Overcamp. Madison Pastors. Sankalp Patil. Ella Pierenboom. Gavin Pham. Victor Polanco. Cameron Porter. Annika Prigodich. Morgan Prill. Anthony Robin Renna. Isabella Roberts. Isabel Robinson. Benjamin Rome. Kaylee Sanchez. Ann Sandilands. Miles Schultz. Josie Sylvester. Abby Smith. Brooke Smith. Brandon Spelse Will. Olivia Stanke. Hunter Stewart. Elizabeth Stoddard. Ty Stormont, Avery Stutz, Mika Telfer, Sela Telfer, Hannah Tran, Grace, this is my Travanisic, that was my daughter's grade school teacher. I think I'd get that. Sorry. Annika Tuggy, Madison Urban, Ishan Varma, Emma Wagner, Jane Westover, Connie Williamson, Josephine Wilson, Josephine Wyron, Leighton Yang, Bryn Youngblood, and that is it.
Awesome. Almost 200 examples of outstanding youth in our community. Congratulations to each and every one of them and their parents. Anyone else like to add anything? Great job, everybody. Awesome, awesome. We ready to roll? You want a short break? Okay. Yes, don't leave any punch or cookies for us. Eat them all. We'll move on to new business. We have 3 resolutions under new business. First, item A, Resolution 2019-062, approving ballot title and explanatory statement and submitting to the voters proposed charter amendment regarding election dates for certain measures. Josh.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. So as you're aware, the City Council formed a charter review committee in 2018 comprised of a number of citizens some were citizens at large and some were members of city boards and commissions. And they were tasked with looking at the city charter, the current city charter language, and developing recommendations for some proposed changes to that charter. Brought those recommendations to City Council, and City Council held 2 work sessions, one with the Charter Review Committee and one just with the City Council, to discuss those recommendations. And based on that conversation, staff has prepared 3 separate ballot measures for referral to the November 2019 ballot. This is the first of 3 of those, and this particular measure relates to the dates on which the city can hold elections on certain measures relating to taxes, charges, and fees, and brings the city charter more in alignment with what the Oregon Constitution allows for similar types of measures. So approval of this resolution would approve the ballot title that's attached to the resolution and the explanatory statement which is attached to the resolution. The former goes into the ballot itself, the latter goes into the voter's pamphlet, and would also refer that measure to the November 2019 ballot, as I said. The text of the actual proposed changes to the charter is attached to the staff report as an exhibit. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Any questions for Josh? I certainly want to thank our Citizen Advisory Committee for taking the time, working with the community to make these proposed charter changes. As you indicated, each city board and commission nominated someone to serve on that, and then there were 3 at-large members. So it's meticulous and sometimes not that entertaining work, but it's important, and I knew they took it very seriously, and I appreciate their service for that. So, discussion? Motion?
I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 2019-062, approving ballot title and explanatory statement and submitting to the voters a proposed charter amendment regarding election dates of certain measures.
Second.
Discussion on the motion? All in favor of approving the motion to approve Resolution 2019-062, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Council. Thank you, Josh. And Josh has the next one, which is the second proposed charter amendment, Resolution 2019-063, approving ballot title and explanatory statement and submitting to the voter a proposed charter amendment regarding council votes and vacancies.
I'm sure you'll get that word on the 3rd try. So I won't regurgitate the whole history that I just went through, but this is a separate measure that that would go to the ballot in November 2019. And this clarifies some language relating to certain types of votes and how we handle vacancies on city council, and adds a new voting requirement for approval of sale of certain types of property.
Great. Questions for Josh? Or a motion or discussion?
I have questions.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry, my microphone's not on. On page 22 of our packet, under section 13, vote required, it lists 3 specific types of majority: unanimous, supermajority, approval of majority by the council. Are you tracking that?
Yep.
And then over on the page 26, this is what goes in the, not the pamphlet, right? This is on 27 goes in the pamphlet, and this goes on the ballot. Is that correct?
26 goes on the ballot. That's
Okay.
right. And 27
So
goes
in the second paragraph under summary, it says establishing 4 categories: unanimous, supermajority, majority of council, and simple majority. And I didn't find simple majority referenced anywhere in that previous text.
Page 22,
Thank you.
subsection A of section 13, majority of the council.
Oh, I don't, okay, okay.
A.
Where's the word simple, though? I mean, it seems like it's
simple
called out.
majority is the descriptive term that I'm using in the ballot title, just to describe it's just a regular majority, not a super majority, not a unanimous approval, not a majority of the council, just a regular, simple, normal, everyday majority. But I didn't have that
I
many
found it
words to put in
confusing.
there, so I had to just put in.
Yeah, I found it
one word.
confusing, but that was just me. I thought it seemed like it was called out. Here you say 4 categories, specifically 4 categories.
There are 4 categories. In section 13, there's subsection A, B, C, and D.
Subsection A being majority of
So in
council.
theory, you could remove the word simple and call it an majority vote, or you could replace simple with standard majority vote, or
Regular or
regular.
Something.
whatever.
Yeah, see, in
descriptive word you want to
section
use.
A, it references unanimous, supermajority, and approval of a majority. Or is the first part before the first comma where you're talking, that's the simple majority?
So section 13, vote
A.
required.
Okay.
There's a A in parentheses at the beginning of that first sentence. You skip down 2 lines, and there's a subsection B for unanimous approval.
Oh, no, I'm catching all that.
Okay.
So you're saying A in its entirety, that's your simple.
Regular, normal majority.
Oh, I see, except when the charter requires the express approval of the
That's
majority.
the
Okay.
default. The default is just we need a majority.
I thought maybe we could work the word, maybe we don't need the word simple in there. I just thought it was a little confusing. I tried to match those up, and I didn't see that they matched up. So, but that was just me.
If council would prefer a word other than simple, we can certainly change
Simple is what's going to appear on the ballot.
on the
measure.
ballot.
I think that makes sense from a
I
ballot
think
measure
most people are
standpoint.
gonna.
They're not going to go back to the charter.
Yeah.
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 Okay, other questions or comment?
Question though.
I just wanted to thank the Charter Review Committee for doing this. When last year we had some resignations and some recalls, it left us with a partial council and not any clear direction on how to handle some things. Like we only had 3 of us up here at one point. Did that still qualify as a majority? We were in limbo. So this is going to clear up a lot of that.
Yeah, and I would just like to thank the committee that worked on this as well, and echo Councillor Young's comments on this. I think these are important changes to really clarify how we deal with vacancies and how we deal with voting in certain situations. Because, just to be very candid, some of the grayness in our existing charter was used as a political tool in the past, and we want to prevent that in the future.
Great. Other questions or comments? Or a motion?
I move Resolution 2019-063, approving ballot title and explanatory statement, and submitting to the voters a proposed charter amendment regarding council votes and vacancies.
Second.
Any discussion? And all in favor of approving Resolution 2019-063, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Council. Thank you, Josh. And the third one is also Josh. As we hinted, Resolution 2019-064, approving the ballot title and explanatory statement and submitting to the voters a proposed charter amendment regarding housekeeping revisions.
Their time is not always the
Mayor Mays, can I just jump back and make one more comment on the resolution we just passed for people out in TV land? Would you mind?
When we get to comments after Josh. Oh, go ahead. I'm being nice. Go ahead.
I just wanted to add one thing for those listening. It was briefly mentioned before that this also changes slightly a rule that if the council is going to be voting on selling property, like a park or something like that, some of you may remember the YMCA situation. We've made that go from a simple majority to a supermajority. Is that correct, Josh? Just to create a little bit more, there has to be more unanimous consent with the council to do something like that, as opposed to what it is today, which is just a simple majority of a quorum, which in theory, if you only have 4 people here, that's a quorum. So, 3 people could vote to sell something. So we just wanted to make sure that there was a higher standard for when we're talking about selling assets like that within the community.
Correct.
With regards to park and recreation.
Yes.
There are a number of qualifiers, the size of the property, but that's the general idea, yes.
So Josh, the third resolution.
Yes. So
housekeeping.
This resolution is just a variety of housekeeping measures. We've listed out a brief summary of them in the ballot title and the explanatory statement. It's everything from grammatical changes to removing language that no longer applies to updating dates, that sort of thing.
Great. Questions for Josh or comments from council? Or a motion from council?
I'll take this one. I move that we approve Resolution 2019-064, approving ballot title and explanatory statement, and submitting to the voters a proposed charter amendment regarding housekeeping revisions.
Second.
Discussion on the motion? All in favor of approving Resolution 2019-064, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Or did I say opposed? Yeah. Motion carries. Thank you, council. Thank you, Josh. Now we'll move on to public hearings. We have 3 public hearings on the agenda. Sylvia.
The Sherwood City Council will hold public hearings on 3 items on the agenda this evening. Ordinance 2019-008, adopting Chapter 6.08 of the Sherwood Municipal Code regarding animal endangerment and declaring an emergency. Ordinance 2019-009, approving annexation into the City of Sherwood and Clean Water Services District of 39.13 acres, comprised of 1 tax lot and adjacent Southwest Oregon Street right-of-way within the Tonquin Employment Area Concept Plan, and Resolution 2019-065, adjusting solid waste and recycling collection rates. This is the first hearing on both of the ordinances listed tonight. And the public hearing this evening will be conducted as follows. The council will hear a staff report, questions, if any, by the city council for staff. We will then receive any written testimony. We will then open the public hearing for testimony, and the time will be limited to 4 minutes per person. Any interested person may present testimony. We will then close the public hearing. No other comments will be heard. Final comments by staff, questions of staff, if any, by the council, discussion by the council. This is the first hearing on the 2 ordinances this evening. Generally, the council will hold 2 hearings prior to making a decision. A second hearing on these items is currently scheduled for the August 20th meeting. However, in accordance with the city charter, council reserves the right to make a decision at the close of this hearing by a unanimous vote of all sitting council members. If you wish to speak, please fill out a testimony form and submit it to the city recorder. The mayor will recognize people wishing to speak, and any questions should be addressed through the mayor. When you come forward, please state your name and address for the record, as this hearing will be recorded.
Thank you, Sylvia.
And Mayor, if I may, just one minor correction on the second ordinance regarding annexation. That second hearing has been scheduled for September 3rd if it does go to a second hearing. That was because we weren't scheduled to have an August 20th meeting at the time that hearing was noticed.
Okay, great. So, are you standing in for the chief?
So this project was brought to us by the police department, but the staff person who took the lead on that was our own legal intern, Ashley Dougal. And so she's going to come up and present this ordinance to City Council.
Outstanding. Awesome. Welcome, Ashley.
Okay, thank you, Mayor and Council. So this proposed new chapter is, like Josh said, a response to concerns the police department had regarding the multiple dogs that they had seen over the past summer and in previous summers left in hot cars. And although city police can currently impound dogs that they feel are in a dangerous situation and issue citations, the county court actually decides whether they'd like to actually follow up and prosecute at this time. Given the county's full plate, district attorneys often end up declining to prosecute. And by shifting these cases into our municipal court, the police department could more effectively hold owners accountable for their actions. So, under this new chapter, people who leave their animals in a car in a way that could endanger them could be cited for a Class B violation, which is a fine up to $500. And if an officer believes that the animal may be at risk of physical injury, if it continues to stay in the car, then the officer can also enter the vehicle and impound the animal. Though we don't really foresee that happening that often, it has to be a pretty high standard. It also would allow them to take that animal to a emergency veterinary services or to a shelter to be held until the owner retrieved the animal. Then the rest of the chapter just outlines key definitions, exempts the officers from liability in that situation that they do impound the animal, outlines the entire impoundment procedure, and how to redeem impounded animals. And in addition, given the relevance, the current relevancy of the chapter, and the fact that the summer could soon be over, the hot temperatures, we recommend that this ordinance come into effect immediately and that you pass this with an emergency, with a unanimous vote per city charter. So if any members of the public have any questions, or if you guys have any questions, I'm happy to answer those.
First, let's see if anyone wants to give testimony in favor or against. Anyone like to testify on the proposed ordinance? Seeing none, we'll close the hearing on the proposed ordinance. So practicality, from a practical standpoint, someone cited, they get for bad ownership behavior with their pet. They come to court, and it is strictly that like a traffic ticket, in that they are not warranted to a jury trial. It's just the individual making their case with the judge.
Exactly. It's just a violation. It's not any sort of criminal case.
Yep. Questions? Yeah.
Well, just a question. I know that one of the reasons for it, this sounds like, is because of the backlog. Is it Washington County that currently has it?
Exactly.
Do we, with the current red light speed tickets, have capacity to also handle these? Because I know that we've had quite an increase recently in court.
It's a small number. It's just a frustration from the police department that when they're citing somebody that they're just not getting prosecuted, kind of as a rule.
Okay.
And so at least having somebody available to potentially prosecute these people would
And
be.
as far as I understand it, we are currently issuing those citations. It's just that we aren't prosecuting.
Okay. And then would people only be cited then here by Sherwood? It wouldn't be Washington County. We would just take full responsibility for this.
Washington County would still be conducting their own. This wouldn't, null their statute. They still have their own ordinances in place, so they would still be doing their own investigations and everything. It's just letting us do ours as well simultaneously and kind of pick up some of any slack that they might have.
So then, if the county picks up the case, is our fee still applicable?
That would be their case.
So at the time that the officer is issuing a citation, they cite into either state court or into municipal court. So they're making that decision at the time that they're issuing the citation.
So it'll only be one.
It doesn't transfer back and forth unless there's an appeal.
So they can't get hit twice.
That was my assumption too. Just want to put it out there.
Okay.
Would this actually change any behavior that's currently ongoing? I mean, or is it simply just? What I'm saying is, does this give the police any additional tools at their disposal that they're not already using, or is it just basically we can cite them now locally instead of sending it on to the county?
It's already, everything in here is already something that someone can be cited for. No additional tools other than that police officers can feel confident that they can actually be prosecuted.
And in fact, a lot of this language is actually in the Oregon state statute.
Right.
I mean, not quite in this detail, but we do have like the framework in place on
The
a
Washington County ordinance as well. Yeah.
So as far as actually dealing with any animal that's in distress, we're not actually making that any better or worse than it currently is. The police already have the tools available that they need to help the animal in the time of need. We're just simply saying, we know this isn't getting prosecuted right now. If we add this local option, we can prosecute it locally and hopefully reduce reoccurrences and whatever. Okay. Put some more teeth into it.
Yeah, is part of the frustration that police department's currently having over this because people know that they're not going to get prosecuted? Is that?
That, I think, is the implication.
Yeah. So they feel there's a better deterrent.
Exactly. Okay. If you receive a violation but you don't have to pay the fine, then
I'll stop you from doing it again.
You mentioned,
So it's not unlike up until a month ago, for several years, you basically could steal cars and not be prosecuted.
Correct.
People knew they could, by saying certain words, they could get away with stealing cars left and right. And then the law was corrected at the state level, and now that out is gone, the hope is people realize that they could be prosecuted and they will reduce that behavior.
Very good analogy.
I had a question. When it said a fine up to $500, is that up to the judge's discretion?
yes.
you mentioned this will waive any liability of the police officer if they have to, like, for instance, break a window to get to a dog. What about liability for the city?
I believe that is the same, one and the same.
So it would be, the way that works under the law is that normally the individual officer would have the liability and the city indemnifies under the Oregon Tort Claims Act. So by eliminating the officer liability, we eliminate all of the liability.
Yeah.
Okay.
And of course, that's, within a reasonable scope. It's
Sure.
not wanton negligence or something. It's not just, randomly breaking windows.
Right. And of course, it's all pets. It's not just dogs.
Correct.
But it's cats, rabbits.
And not just hot temperatures, if during
Hamsters.
the winter there's, freezing temperatures and some animals left in there overnight or something.
An iguana. Just
Don't bring your pet into this.
Iguanas like the heat.
Other questions?
Great job presenting, Ashley.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you.
Great to have you on board and helping. What's the will of council?
I'm certainly willing to pass it tonight.
Fine.
Yep.
Or, sorry, recommend passing it tonight.
Okay, so would someone like to do the read caption and
I move that we recaption adopt ordinance 2019-008, adopting chapter 6.08 of the Sherwood Municipal Code regarding animal endangerment and declaring an emergency.
Second.
Ordinance 2019-008, adopting Chapter 6.08 of the Sherwood Municipal Code regarding animal endangerment and declaring an emergency. Counselor Scott?
Aye.
Counselor Griffin?
Aye.
Counselor Browse?
Aye.
Counselor Young?
Aye.
Counselor Garland?
Aye.
Council President Rosner?
Aye.
Mayor Mays?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sylvia. Thank you, council. Thank you, Ashley. Next is ordinance 2019-009. Joy, welcome.
I actually have a PowerPoint, so let's bring it up. Well, good evening, Mayor Mays and councilors. Joy Chang, Senior Planner with the Planning Department. In front of you tonight is the 2100 Oregon Street Annexation Proposal, case file number AN 19-01. The site is located at 21600 Southwest Oregon Street and is within the Tonkin Employment Area Concept Plan. It is just outside the city, east side of Southwest Oregon Street, north of Southwest Tonkin Road, and west of Southwest Dalkey Lane. The annexations consist of 39.13 acres of land, which 0.31 acres is Southwest Oregon Street right-of-way dedication. There are 3 levels of approval criteria for annexations. There's the state level, regional, and local. In 2016, state legislators passed Senate Bill 1573 that allowed for 100% property owner initiated annexation, so long as the items listed on this slide are met, particularly 100% of ownership within the urban growth boundary subject to a comprehensive plan, contiguous to the city, and conforms to other city ordinances. As shown on this map on the slide, the site is inside the urban growth boundary. The site was brought into Sherwood UGB in 2004 and is contiguous to the city boundary line. Besides submitting the Senate Bill 1573 annexation petition, in 2012, the Sherwood voters authorized annexation of the properties in the Tonkin employment area into the city, subject to council public hearing and approval. Furthermore, tonight, the applicant is also requesting annexation to Clean Water Services Service District under the provision of Oregon Revised Statute 199.510 sub 2 sub C. This provision allows a site annexing into a city be also included in the boundary of the service district, in this particular case, Clean Water Services. City staff has reviewed the urban services and determined that it's feasible, and again, this is the regional criteria, that it's feasible to service the site as indicated in the written staff report. The site is within the Washington County Enhanced Sheriff Patrol District, so once annexed, the site will be withdrawn from the county service district, Enhanced Sheriff Patrol District, and Sherwood Police would then serve the parcel. The proposal is consistent with urban service, Clean Water Services, and Tualatin Valley and Fire agreements. The proposal also will promote orderly facilities, affect urban services, and avoid duplication of services. The City of Sherwood completed the Tonkin Employment Area Concept Plan in 2010. This slide identifies the local comprehensive plan and the Tonkin Employment Area Plan approval criteria. As described in the written staff report, all the growth management and Tonkin Employment Area criteria have been met for the annexation. Once the site is annexed into the city boundary, the employment industrial, or the EI zoning designation, will be applied. The applicant does not currently have plans for development. However, he is seeking other investors to develop the site with allowed uses in the EI zone. Staff has provided required notice to the community, and as of tonight, no comments have been received. And staff recommends that based on the criteria of Senate Bill 1573 and ORS 199.510 sub 2 sub C, metro annexation criteria, and the city's policies in the comprehensive plan and the Tonkin Employment Area Concept Plan, staff recommends approval of 21600 Oregon Street annexation petition to the City of Sherwood and Clean Water Service District, case file AN 1901. There are 2 options for you tonight. You can either adopt ordinance 2019-009 with a unanimous vote tonight, or hold the first public hearing, which is tonight, then hold the second reading public hearing on September 3rd. That concludes my staff report and can answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Joy. Before we ask questions, if there is any, anyone in the audience like to give testimony? If the applicant would like to give testimony, please come forward and do so. Thank you, Joy. Just leave your stuff there or not. Please state your name for the record and welcome.
Thank you, Mayor Mays, members of the council. My name is Chris Goodell. My company is AKS Engineering and Forestry. Our address is 12965 Southwest Herman Road, Suite 100, Tualatin, Oregon 97062. here tonight. We prepared the application for annexation and submitted it to staff, and I'm here working for the property owner. So Joy and the other city staff members prepared a very thorough staff report, and she summarized the issues very well here this evening. I can't improve upon it, and I don't intend to try. So I just wanted to, I guess, offer support for the application. I'm here with the property owner, Mr. John Niemeyer, and he's excited to be a part of the city and would appreciate your approval here this evening. Thank you.
Great. If you'd like to say anything, you're certainly welcome.
John Niemeyer, 15 82nd Drive, Suite 210, Gladstone, Oregon. I believe this will be the first piece of the employment zone being annexed into the city, so it sounds like we'll be able to grow together.
Exciting.
Yes, that is exciting, and great to be the first to be annexed and proposed.
Our intention is to develop it on not necessarily a slow pace, but as appropriate, and we may develop it ourselves with some spec buildings and phases, or we may partner with some other developers, and also if we do develop it ourselves, we will use probably a development firm to work with us on it.
Great. Any questions? You have a chance. Do you want to ask him any questions?
Comment.
I
have a comment. I'm excited about this. As a lot of the people in the room know, one of the priorities that came out of the visioning sessions for the council was driving economic development and starting to shift our balance. We're heavily residential today. We need more companies, industrial land stuff, because I can go into a lot of details of why that's important, but it creates better balance in our tax base. So I'm personally very excited to see some movement in the Tonquin area, and appreciate you guys coming in today.
And we agree with the Tonkin plan.
So I do have a question. I don't know if it would be for the applicant or be for Joy, but it's on page 50. It's under regional standards, section 1, and with regards to the sewer, it talks about the distance of the public, the access for the sanitary sewer, and it talks about requiring construction of 1,850 feet public sanitary sewer mainline along Oregon Street. Would that have any impact on the street itself? Is that off the street? And what kind of impact does that have to the city?
City staff can speak to this as well, but it would be in the street itself, most likely. I don't know where exactly it would be. We don't have any kind of design for that at this time, but that's one option. There's other options too that could serve the site with sanitary sewer.
And I'll just chime in, and Bob can add on if I'm wrong. But we do have in our CIP for this year beginning design for Oregon Street, and have infrastructure within there will certainly be a component of that. And with annexations, there's a little bit more leeway than with development, where you actually need to have stuff right there. With annexation, it's really, we're looking at what's feasible. Do we have plans for it? And we do. There are plans within our master plans for these facilities, and we know it's possible to achieve.
Okay. Great. Well, thank you again.
Thank you.
We're definitely excited for you and us. Anyone else like to give testimony in support or opposition of the proposed annexation request? Hearing none, we will close the public hearing tonight. And any questions of Joy on the proposed ordinance tonight? And if there's an interest of having a second meeting, or if there's an interest of having unanimous this evening.
So again, this is Senate Bill 1573, right? So as long as it meets the criteria, we are compelled to approve, unless there's a good reason not to.
I think this one's a little different, though, because the voters already approved the annexation conditional. Correct. So 1573 is kind of moot, if I'm reading it correctly. But they didn't have to.
But they didn't have to if they had. Normally with an annexation, as a reminder, unless it was 1573, you would be voting to place it on the ballot for the citizens of Sherwood to vote. but that happened in 2012. So regardless of 1573 or not, it would ultimately be the council's public hearing and approval for the annexation.
I mean, I've been opposed to emergencies and one, but there's nothing to stop us. I mean, we really have no, even one more meeting, even if somebody wanted to come oppose it, by law, we aren't able to oppose it anyway. So I would be okay with one meeting on this subject.
Yep.
Scott? So, do we need to alter the title or anything of this, Josh, if
Nope,
we were to do
did
unanimous
draft
this
the
evening?
ordinance so that it could be adopted tonight, and we would change some of the language if you weren't adopting it tonight. So it is
Ready for
ready
us.
to go as is.
So we don't have to declare it an emergency?
No.
Okay.
All right, who'd like to do the honors?
I move that we recaption and adopt ordinance 2019-009, approving annexation into the city of Sherwood and Clean Water Services District of 39.13 acres, comprised of one tax lot and adjacent Southwest Oregon Street right-of-way within the Tonquin Employment Area Concept Plan.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Sylvia?
Ordinance 2019-009, approving annexation to the city of Sherwood and Clean Water Services District of approximately 39.13 acres, comprised of one tax lot and adjacent Southwest Oregon Street right-of-way within the Tonquin Employment Area Concept Plan. Counselor Scott?
Aye.
Counselor Griffin?
Aye.
Counselor Browse?
Aye.
Counselor Young?
Aye.
Counselor Garland?
Aye.
Council President Rosner?
Aye.
Mayor Mays?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joy. Thank you, Council. Next is item C, Resolution 2019-065, adjusting solid waste and recycling collection rates. Joe?
Mayor and Council, I'm going to invite Chris Bell, our consultant who worked with us again this year in analyzing the financial details of our franchise hauler, and you may recall was here on June 18th in a work session to go over his analysis and his recommendations to alter our rates for our solid waste and recycling customers. A little different this year as opposed to last year. You may recall we did this late in the calendar year, and it felt very rushed, and our code actually requires us to do it earlier in the year, so we did it according to code this year, earlier in the year, so we're here a little earlier. This proposed rate increase, if you vote to approve it, would not go into effect till January 1st, 2020. So we're ahead of the game, and unlike last year. The reason there is a public hearing tonight is anytime you change rates or fees, state law requires you to have a public hearing, so that's why it's a public hearing tonight. We have the PowerPoint available. We were not going to go through the whole PowerPoint. It's in your packet. We're happy to do that if you have questions about specific items. But essentially, as you may recall, Chris comes in and takes a look at the different sectors that are provided by our franchised hauler and compares it to a rate of anywhere from 8 to 12%, I believe is.
Yes, the operating range.
Yeah, the operating rate. Looks at all three sectors, comes up with a composite rate to determine whether they're meeting that 8 to 12%. His analysis showed that they're not, and as a result, he's recommending in the rate schedule to increase rates in a variety of different categories to achieve that in the future. We do this normally every year, so it's a fairly routine process. So he can fill in any gaps in terms of his analysis. If you have questions, am I missing anything in particular, Chris?
Oh, no, that's, last time I was here, I could barely talk. I remember that was in January.
Yes, that's correct.
And so this is kind of a welcome. We do have some breathing time, and this time you were given a couple options on the rates. The first option was to increase the rates by approximately 2.7% for residential and commercial collection. And then the second alternative was to raise it by approximately 5.3%. And that additional difference would be for the cost of providing city services by Pride to the city, primarily for garbage collection for city city buildings and also the public works, approximately $63,000 worth of collection and disposal expenses that will be incurred throughout the year.
And to be clear, the vast majority of that is the street leaf
Correct.
program.
Correct. It is disposal primarily for the stuff that the public works picks up at the parks, the leaves, the street sweeping. There's a lot of stuff that's picked up by the city service.
Great. Council, would you like to see the PowerPoint, or are you fully vetted and understood what we're doing and ready to move ahead?
We had a great work session on it.
Yeah.
Okay. Any questions of staff on the proposal, or a motion or discussion by council?
For the benefit of the public and people out in TV land watching this, could you talk a little bit about what the drivers were for the increases? I know we talked about the leaf collection, but I think there's some other regional
and the comparables.
Yeah.
Correct. There was two. The city services was approximately about around $11,600 worth of annual costs, and that's, for example, the library, the police department, and a few other places where regular garbage collection is required, and then approximately $63,000 worth of, again, drop box disposal and collection provided by Public Works, and they've got a drop box sitting at the Public Works building at any given time collecting different materials. So that was that additional 2.7% for the city services. Right now, that's paid out of the general fund. This right here would be paid by Pride and an offset on the collection rate. So that burden that's being absorbed right now by the general fund would be lifted, and those expenses or those resources could be used other places as deemed necessary by the city council. The regular 2.7% increase is a combination of a couple of things. There's regular cost increases that Pride has for the union contract they have with their drivers. Health insurance, cost of labor is going up, and we all know right now it's a pretty tight labor market, so finding qualified people has been very difficult. There's that. There's the increase in equipment costs over the last couple of years. Again, with a good economy, costs have increased. But the biggest driver on that is the recycling, and in 2017, if you recall, most of the material that was collected curbside was sent overseas. In 2017, towards the end of the year, China said we're no longer going to take that material. And so we've had kind of a ripple effect as the market's trying to correct for that market drying up, the cost of recycling, specifically the processing and the value of the recycling. The processing costs have increased as we try to pull out the contamination. And because that market has disappeared overseas, we've got a glut of material over here domestically that's looking for markets. So the combination of those two actions have caused the cost of recycling to substantially increase. And that was the major part of what's driving the rate increase for this year. And Sherwood's not alone. Every other jurisdiction has had substantial rate increases, particularly for the cost of recycling. And so we're hoping that at some point this year, everyone's hoping that that rate stabilizes. Will it ever get back to where we're seeing a value? I personally don't think that'll happen, but it would be good if the rate would stabilize, set a rate on it, and move forward. So that's the biggest driver for that cost increase from this year to from the last year to the previous year.
Great. Thank you. I appreciate that.
And then compared to our neighbors, we're still below.
You're right.
Right at or
there's
below
a couple
our neighbors.
that you're below. There's a couple that you're above, and there's a few that you're right on. So everybody's about $28 to $29 for the 35-gallon cart that's collected weekly.
Okay. Awesome. Okay.
And one other just point, I think in the work session there is interest from council to reestablish a contamination fee, which we put back into the fee schedule. I think it's $15 is the recommendation. So that was a recommendation that came out of the work session. So we are adding that back into the fee schedule.
And to be clear, so that's when someone puts contaminated material in a recycled can or improper material in a yard debris can.
Correct. And we do have a public hearing on this item, just as a reminder, too, before you make a motion. So, and Pride is here if you have any questions of our hauler.
Great. Anyone in the audience like to give testimony on the proposed resolution? Would Pride like to make any added testimony? There's no public hearing, or no one wants to testify. If you want to add anything to the narrative, you're welcome, but not required. Okay. So we will close the public hearing on the proposed resolution. Discussion by council or a motion?
I would just point out for the people at home, the PowerPoint that we've not presented tonight, because we've seen it, we've talked about this several times, but it does have some good information in there if anybody wants to see it. It's on the website, the Sherwood website. It's in the attachment on the agendas page, starting at page 169 of the attachment. So,
excellent.
In case anybody wants to know what we're doing.
This may be a stupid question.
No such thing.
But how do you determine if there's a contaminant? I mean, do your staff look at each can that's going in? I mean, can you just explain that for me?
So I'm Kristen Leichner with Pride Disposal. So we have cameras on all of our trucks, and several cameras for safety, so backup cameras, blind spot cameras, and one of the cameras actually points in the hopper of the truck where the material is emptied. So sometimes the driver can see the contamination when he arrives at the cart because it might be a piece of styrofoam causing the lid to be open or a plastic bag sticking out or something like that, but often they can't see it until it's actually being dumped into the truck. And so, the cameras are going to catch the more obvious things like plastic bags, larger things like that. But they're not going to catch, bottle caps and small things like that. So this would really be intended for the more egregious contamination that might occur in either the yard debris or the recycling carts.
So then if somebody is charged that fee and they try to fight it, you have the camera footage basically to back it up.
Right. Okay. And we can send either the video or a screenshot of it depending on what the customer would like to see.
Right, cool. Thank you.
Awesome.
If I understood you correctly, this is, when you say egregious, this is for like someone putting a car battery in their recycling,
right,
or something like that. You're not someone accidentally left a little tiny piece of plastic. That's not
right. No, that's not the intention. It's truly more about just educating and helping to correct the behavior. So, that's what it's intended for.
Because you'd rather not charge them a fee and have their recycling properly.
Exactly. And part of what Chris mentioned about the extra cost of processing recycling, there's kind of two phases in that. One is to get the material clean enough to be able to send it to a market. Their contamination levels are very low, like 0.5%, which is almost unachievable even if you're only getting the right things in the cart because you still have to sort them by commodity type. So all of the wrong things that end up in the cart make that process even more expensive. So if we can get the contamination out, it will hopefully put downward pressure on those processing costs, which will help the system and help stabilize those prices.
Thank you, Kristen. Any further discussion or a motion by council?
I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 2019-065, adjusting solid waste and recycling collection rates.
Second.
Question or discussion on the motion? All in favor of approving Resolution 2019-065, adjusting solid waste and recycling collection rates, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, council. Thank you, Joe. City manager report.
Mayor and council, a couple just items for the public. We are actively looking for new board and commission members. Namely, we have openings on the budget committee, we have openings on cultural arts, and we have the brand new senior advisory board that is ready to launch that we're seeking applicants. So
awesome.
All that information is on the website. We've been doing social media posts on Facebook and Twitter to try to generate interests. It's a great way to get involved in the city on those respective boards, and we encourage folks to check out the information on our website or call City Hall and we can provide more information. The other thing that we're about to start marketing is our fall Citizens University. We're working on dates. It's looking like it'll be probably late September through November. Once we get those solidified, we'll start marketing for folks to sign up for the fall series. We'll do the same thing, the Sherwood Archer newsletter, and then website and social media. But that's starting. We're starting to get actually calls from folks about participating in the fall. That's all I had tonight. Just a reminder, we still have a work session and a URA meeting after this business meeting. So.
Awesome.
Any questions for myself or staff that are here?
Any questions for Joe or Sean? Great. Council announcements. Who'd like to kick it off?
I'll just do a brief one, just a public service announcement. I spent a little bit of time in Old Town here over the weekend, and in the last few weeks, and a lot of kids now down at the Cannery Square fountains. Those are running and they're working well, and I was hanging out by the Art Center a lot over the last couple weeks, and I'm seeing way too many cars driving way too fast past through those crosswalks right there by Smockville Brew House in between the Art Center and the Cannery Square. So I'm just asking people to slow down. There's a lot of kids walking back and forth, and with the parking on the streets there, the street parking along Pine Street there, it's very, very difficult to see little kids in the road. So I'm just asking for people to slow down through Pine Street, past City Hall. There's also another marked blinking light crosswalk there. That one's still dangerous even when the lights are blinking. So we still got another month of summer left. The kids are still out there, so just slow down, please. Thanks.
Great. Anybody else? Next.
I'll go quickly. So summer, so a lot of meetings are sort of on the downside, but I did have Police Advisory Board last month, and they're working on the traffic calming, traffic calming procedures, and discussing how to create another committee, shying away from another board and commissions, but going to a committee to address traffic calming complaints or traffic complaints and stuff like that. So the other thing, I just wanted to give a shout out to Representative Bonamici's office. So my daughter this summer was on an internship in Washington, D.C., and did you know you could just email your representative and they will set you up on a Capitol tour and a White House tour, private. So she got a private Capitol tour, passes to do a White House tour, and then she got to meet Representative Bonamici. So I just thought that was really cool. And I mean, they had that set up within a matter of hours once I'd emailed them. So anyways, thank you for that.
Awesome.
I'll go. So there's lots going on in some of our city facilities. The library is booming. Adrian puts together this really good quarterly management report. There's lots of good information in it. But I just wanted to share really quickly this story. She always has interesting stories in her reports. So where did it go? This one is from Jamie Thorson, one of the librarians. And she says that today, 3 young ladies were trying to understand how to play the mancala. I have no idea what the heck that is, but it's an instrument, and one was trying to figure out how to make pom-poms. So musical instruments and pom-poms are the two things going on at the same time.
Natural combo.
Yeah, natural combo. So as the one is trying to, so Jamie was helping them one make the pom-pom, and she instructed the other how to play the mancala. When the pom-pom was ready to be released from the maker, I pulled the thing apart to reveal the fully formed pom-pom. All 3 emitted a tiny awe-tinged puff of sigh when they saw the perfect pom-pom spring forth from the pom-pom maker. And then one of them, still a little impressed from seeing the perfect pom-pom, followed a sigh with, "That was really satisfying." So I just thought it was interesting. We've got, libraries for books, but there's so much more going on in the library, and ours is bustling. So all the numbers are promising and showing increased usage of the library. So great job to the library staff. I also attended the Friends of the Senior Center. Actually, I did that by phone, but there's a lot going on there as well. Hawaiian Day's coming up, Western Day. They're preparing for 2 field trips coming up to the vineyards and then to the zoo. They're going on a senior safari. Holiday Bazaar will take place on November 16th, so that's coming along. The planning's coming along for that. They are also, for those of you who like Jeopardy, the last Tuesday of the month is Jeopardy Day, so you can go play Jeopardy. That sounds like fun. Cooking classes with Dominic, so lots and lots of good things going on at the Senior Center as well. Reminder that there are 3 Music on the Greens left. Tomorrow, I can't remember the name of the group, but I know it's Latin music, and I'm really excited about that. Cloverdale's next week, and then ends with the Hype Band. And just another plug for the memorial for Jason Osborne's family this Sunday at Vine and Sparrow, 2 to 6 o'clock.
Awesome.
So I have a couple things.
Okay.
If I may go next. So it's it's been a slow month. We didn't have a school board meeting this month, and additionally, we didn't have a historical society meeting, mainly because of the concerts on the green, music on the greens is going on. Just want to put in a plug for the historical society there. They run the beer garden down there. That's how they raise money to support our great Mooreback Museum and all those activities that go on over there. So I encourage people to go watch the music and drink beer. The other thing I wanted to mention, I just got back from taking 16 kids to space camp in Huntsville, Alabama. And
I'm really sorry that you had to step up on their behalf.
It was a burden. It was a burden. It's an amazing program for anyone who has kids who are interested in any of the STEM fields. It doesn't have to be aerospace. It can be biology, anything. They have an amazing program. But I did learn a little interesting tidbit because, we just passed the Apollo anniversary of Neil Armstrong landing on the moon and setting foot there. Oregon has a little piece to play in that. James Irwin, who was on the Apollo 15 mission and walked on the moon, actually took a little piece of Oregon basalt from Central Oregon and left it on the moon at the request of a city engineer from the city of Bend at the time. So there's a little piece of Oregon up on the moon, which I thought was really cool. So that's all I got.
I'll just tag onto that because I was over in Bend recently and actually have an exhibit going on at the High Desert Museum right now about some of the history, about some of the training they did in that area to train for the moonwalk area. So it's kind of
and that's what inspired him to take the rock. Yeah.
I'll go. I wanted to thank the Art Center staff, the great crew that we have over there at the city. We had a great run with Annie, 2 weekends, sold out.
Awesome.
Great show. It was tons and tons of fun. And it's such a pleasure to just do it at the Art Center. What a nice facility that is. So I wanted to thank the staff and everybody responsible for that. And we had a Parks Board meeting last night. We talked a lot about the Cedar Creek Trail, how it's going to take longer, but not as long, or less, but not as, anyway, it's complicated. Jason has all the, when you're dealing with ODOT, and anyway, he's on it, though. He's really on it. So it's going to be great. But when it's done, it'll be great. Yes. Yeah, there are some issues yet that they have to iron out, but they're on it. So, and we also talked about, the Parks Board talked about suggesting some rules of conduct for the skate park, and maybe all parks, that in general, there should be kind of a standard of conduct within the parks, and specifically certain kinds of things that maybe would not be allowed at the skate park because it was expensive to create and for the safety of the people participating. Anyway, so some of that stuff will be rolling forward.
Like
That's
no
it.
fireworks.
Yeah, no fireworks.
No hot embers at the base of a bowl that might be burning into the concrete.
No bonfires at the bottom of the pit. Specifically, at the suggestion of the manufacturer, no bikes. Because the posts on the pedals, yeah, just really, so that's probably not going to be a thing. Scooters, yeah. Skateboards, yeah. Scooters don't have they don't have the pedal posts.
So no BMX bikes.
No BMX bikes. No, it's not going to happen. So it'll be posted. There'll be a lengthy sign.
And that was the question recently on social media.
Yeah, and the manufacturer actually said that they probably could not warranty the installation for the year if we allowed bikes on it. So that's kind of a done deal.
That's a pretty...
Yeah.
That's a big no.
Anyway, that's still rolling forward. Kristen's all over it. And Craig and everybody. So, great job, by the way. Great job.
I think on the 20th of August, your next meeting, you'll have a resolution, probably on consent, kind of blessing or authorizing all those rules after Park and Rec put those together with staff. So you'll see an item on your next agenda for that, probably on consent. So
great. Awesome.
That's it.
Quick, since we have a long post-city council meeting to go, again, I don't know if the governor signed the bill, technically, the Christmas tree bill yet. Because I think she's gonna line item veto a thing or two, maybe. Not ours.
Line item she's going to veto,
Yes, but not ours. Again, we have the $2 million in the state bill to go towards pedestrian crossing. Want to give the reminder, and I'll do it in the Archer as well, that is one of two planned crossings. Certainly that one, and then the second one is part of the Cedar Creek Trail project. So, and maybe we can find a good location for additional. But those are the two that are on the books for us to work on. So that want to remind that. Into last week, I was at the Oregon Mayor's Association meeting in Medford. Drove past the milepost 97 fire, single lane. 20 miles away, you saw this huge column of smoke rising in the blue sky. Pretty impressive, and glad it is now contained and didn't get larger than it was. The fire did get right up to the edge in parts of the freeway, and you could see where they dumped the fire retardant stuff, and you saw a few of the 1,500 or more firefighters that were coming out of the woods and just completely soot covered. So appreciate all of their efforts to protect those communities in our forests. At the conference, it was well attended. First time in a long time that it was that far south, in my memory. One takeaway that actually Joe is digging into is an entity called Politicet, and www.politicet.org. They have funds to help non-electeds, is my understanding, attend and participate in city meetings for childcare. So we're going to look into that, see if we're eligible, what the rules are, just to help more folks get involved that otherwise have challenges to do so because of childcare.
Great.
Yeah, so there's the direct reimbursement, or, I mean, in theory, you have someone sitting in the child watch area of the library during a meeting, or I don't know all the details, but Joe's going to find out. So I thought that was cool. And in my travels, I'll be in Virginia later next week, and I'm going to stay an extra day to do some last-minute push lobbying on our asks of DC that we've made, and start working on the next batch of asks. So I have meetings set up with staff of our representatives back there, since they are technically on a holiday break, August break. They might all be coming back, who knows, but we set up those meetings as well as with USDA for the broadband folks. So with that, if there's nothing else to add to the collective good, we will adjourn the city council meeting and reconvene our work session.